And are you refreshed?
Yes.
Good. Now what?
First of all, many years ago, I read The Nature of Personal Reality, one of the Seth books, and I'm a little nervous. I just want to thank Abraham so much for bringing this material into a light that's understandable, because that book was amazing and fascinating, but I'd have to read each paragraph about 10 times to understand what it meant. Secondly,
and now, knowing what you know, it's an easy read.
I have to go back to it. I haven't gone back to it.
Yeah.
I'll have to do that. You talk a lot about momentum stopping during sleep, but I have these crazy dreams, and I wake up, it can be the good dream or maybe not such a great dream.
Well, let us be clear. Your dreams are not what you think they are, what most think they are, in that they don't happen all night long. It's more like a download that happens as you are coming back into consciousness.
Right.
And so the dreams that you are recalling are the momentum from, it's the practiced momentum that you've got going on, and the momentum that you step back into as soon as you wake up.
Right, that's the point.
Yeah.
As I come out of my dream with whatever momentum it is, and I either wake up with this great, oh my gosh, that was great, or I wake up, oh my gosh, what happened? Why am I,
So then, given what we've been talking about here today, so let's say you wake up from just the most delicious dream. So you would want to keep that momentum going. You might want to replay it in your mind. You might want to lie in your bed longer and recall it. You might want to even explain it to someone else. But if it is a dream, which is a realization, which is a manifestation of something unwanted, do you want to keep that momentum going? If the answer is no, then don't think about it. Don't talk about it. Don't keep it active in your vibration. And in time, with enough night's sleep, where momentum stops, the dream will stop too. But if you remember it, and you recall it, and you react to it, and you explain it, then you keep it active in your vibration. Yeah. It really is that simple. What happens in your wake state is an extension of your vibration. It's manifestation. It's the vibration to the thought word to the actualization. Well, in there before the actualization that you call real life is the dream real life. So the process is the same. You like it, talk about it. You don't.
Okay. I have a habit of trying to analyze it.
Analyzing it is attention to it. That's the same as trying to get to the bottom of things. That's the same as trying to explain the unexplainable to the unexplained upon. In other words, don't you sometimes come to the realization that you could talk all day for many, many days and still they couldn't hear what you're saying? So don't you want to stop sacrificing your alignment on something that you're not going to accomplish anyway? And why do you want them to understand? So that they can validate you when that's not where the validation was ever coming from. It's coming from alignment. It gets simpler and simpler as you think about it, doesn't it?
Yes, I attempt to change the thought, and sometimes I just have to get up and go to work, and it's not a great drive into work.
The whole world could disapprove of something that you are or say or do. The whole world could disapprove. It's not ever going to happen that way, but let's just pretend for a moment. And if you really are in that place of unconditional alignment, unconditional clarity, unconditional love, where you really are following your path of least resistance, you would come into alignment. All of the resources of alignment would be yours, and they would not be able to hold their negative position about you, because your exuding of pure positive energy and joy would eventually win more and more of them over. But try to please them, nobody will like you for very long.
Okay, along the lines of the dream realm, I'm not sure if this was a dream realm, but about 15 years ago I had an experience where I left my body during my sleep.
Yes.
And I saw myself, and then I heard a voice. I started to kind of freak out because I wasn't sure what was happening. And I heard a voice. I thought to myself, am I dying? And a voice said, do you want to die? And I said, no. And then all of a sudden I was in one with the stars, and then I really started I was feeling peaceful, and then for a moment I started to freak out again, and then I had this strange realignment back into my body, which was very weird as well. It hasn't happened since. It happened once, and I happened to actually be meditating that day, and I asked to be shown my power. And this is what happened.
And your question is?
Well, I'd like to happen again, but maybe it's my fear of what happened during the time. And is that...
Well, the thing is, it's like you ask a question, I'd like to know who I am, I'd like to be shown my power, and then you're shown it, and then you say, okay, now I've forgotten, I'd like to be shown again.
Well, it was fun and strange and weird at the same time, so I would like to experience it not with...
We think the value of it, the answer to your question that was given to you, the words that we would put to the experience that you had was you felt the freedom of that releasing into a state of non-resistance. You then, through the power of your mind, introduced resistance to it anyway, which made it feel a little weird and uncomfortable. Then you were clear about it and enjoyed it a little bit. Then you added weirdness to it as you worried about it, and then you reemerged back into your body where you felt the resistance again. So it was an experience to help you feel the freedom of, or the resistance of, your choices. The thing that we would like to accentuate, really clarify, is that that doesn't mean that out of body is resistance free and in body is therefore full of resistance. You can be in your body and without resistance. You just have to practice it a little bit, because there is nothing more delicious to any of us than to be soaring here on this planet with all of you in a state of non-resistance. We do it all the time. It's you that brings resistance to the party, so you don't feel it like we do. Esther was telling a friend the other day that out-of-body experience feels like what she's seen in movies where they show the astronauts breaking through the atmosphere, and the atmosphere is causing tremendous stress on them, which she is equating to the resistance, and then they break through into that weightlessness, into that non-pull, that non-resistance. And that is what an out-of-body experience often feels like, while the coming back into your body feels like the descending back into the atmosphere again. But what Esther was really equating it to is what it feels like to be in this place of receiving Abraham, or in this place of true alignment. It's resistance free, and that's what you're reaching for, you see. Of course, you want to explore. You just want to be aware of what you're doing so that you're tending to it at the early subtle stages, not at the greater, more resistant stages where the spaceship breaks completely apart because of your lack of preparation. Yeah. Enough?
Enough. Thank you.
Out-of-body experience differs from dream only in this way. When you are dreaming, while you slumber, there is no resistance. So the answer to questions is more easily received by you because you are in a less resistant state of being. But because you are unconscious and the download is happening all at once, the interpretation of the dream then is from the framework of the state of being you're in when you wake up. In other words, you go to bed, you're worried about something. When you wake up, you often step right back into the same vibration. So there is a translation problem that often clouds and makes dreams sort of a mystery, where in an out-of-body experience, in order for you to accomplish it, you are in alignment and you are in conscious awake state. So the experience that you had is coming to a consciously awake person who then is applying resistance or not and aware of what that feels like. Out-of-body experiences are really good indicators of what you've got going on vibrationally. First of all, you don't accomplish one unless you're in the vicinity of non-resistance. And often your fears about mortality, your concerns about what happens after death, often those things are soothed in an experience like that. Why don't you continue to have them? Because your intention is to be here, and those out-of-body experiences come infrequently in order to help you to put things into perspective. And that really is what this entire conversation has been about for you here today, to help you put your life experience into the bigger picture perspective, so that you can understand what your emotional guidance system is really all about, so that you can get on your joyful path that you've carved out and do it in a conscious, deliberate way. It's possible to stumble upon a path of no resistance, but it's what we call creation by default. It's ever so much more delicious to have launched a dream and to be aware of it, and to know what it feels like, and to have felt the deliciousness of it, and then to watch it move from the vibration into the manifestations, all the way out to the fulfillment when everyone can then observe it. And then you might notice, when everybody else gets a look at your dream, if you look at how they're looking, you can start to add resistance to your own dream and keep it from being what it started out as your true desire. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.